Jermaine and welcome to Inside Adelaide. On tonight's show, uproar over the relocation of the Flinders Medical Centre's Eating Disorder and Anxiety Unit. Sinead takes a behind-the-scenes look at Adelaide's fashion industry, and the Unleashed Swimming Centre hold a charitable event for multiple sclerosis. But first tonight, another year, another Valentine's Day. But what does love and lust mean to us in the 21st century? Liam Mannix spent Valentine's Day finding out what the modern age can teach us about human emotion.
This Valentine's Day, the Royal Institute of Australia hosted a special evening in the city devoted to that strumpet of love, lust.
We're not talking about love here. Love is when your heart flutters. We're talking about lust. Lust is when your groin twitches.
For the two university professors speaking on the night, or professors of love as they were labelled, love and lust were easily reducible to mathematical averages.
On average, women are going to be more concerned about the quality of their partner than men are. Men are going to compete for the affections of women, because women are providing a very important resource, a huge amount of effort and time to raise this offspring that men need only put a tiny bit amount of effort and time into.
Professor Bill von Hippel used the sellout crowd of 130 people as an unwary sample group for a piece of research into attractiveness.
I'm going to show you some pictures of men and women, and I'm going to ask you to decide who is more attractive in each pair.
Using keypads, the audience voted on who they found more attractive.
Okay, now we're going to shift gears a little bit. You get to choose between these two guys. Sadly, neither of them are here tonight.
The results, according to a relieved von Hippel, confirmed the theory that men find women with a high level of estrogen and women find men with a high level of testosterone more attractive. But testosterone has many downsides.
One of the things is it causes men to be more interested in sexual novelty, which means that pairing up with a high testosterone guy is a risk that he may not be there tomorrow or next week or maybe next year. The second thing about high testosterone is that it also leads to a high level of aggressiveness. And so high testosterone guys are going to be less likely to be good dads, do the nurturant kind of thing that you want to do.
While the speakers talked abstracts on stage, many couples in the audience were putting lessons into practice.
He was very young, very enthusiastic and very persuasive, yes.
And you, sir?
Oh, I thought that you looked pretty good.
That initial spark attraction.
I think it has to be someone that just keeps you entertained, keeps you interested for a while. The whole thing about males always wanting novelty, you've got to have someone that can make sure that you stay on your toes.
I feel like I've just had a counselling session because now I understand why I have this problem settling for one guy. I'm wanting two kinds of guys that don't exist in one human being.
It doesn't matter how generically cute we are. It doesn't matter how attractive we are to the whole world. What matters is how attractive we are to individuals, because you're not going to mate with the whole world. Well, let's hope not. You're going to end up mating with an individual.
Rob Brooks from the University of New South Wales had a few quick tips for any would-be lovers in the audience.
What people need to do is they need to adjust their strategy in relation not only to who they find attractive, but also who they think everybody else is going to find attractive. And so she's doing really well in terms of the generically cute thing, but she's the kind of girl that might not get as much attention because everybody goes, well, she's kind of attractive, and doesn't think that they necessarily have a chance with her. Whereas the person on the right, there's a lot of guys who just don't find her attractive at all, and plenty of guys who find her supremely attractive. Those guys who find her supremely attractive, of course, are going to send her messages, but part of why they find her attractive is, in fact, that they know that she's not everybody's cup of tea. They know that the competition is much lower. The important thing about this is that you've got to make sure that you follow the oldest advice in the book. And the oldest advice in the book is, of course, meet lots of people and go out and do social things. But it's the quirky stuff that endears us to other people. And it's the quirky stuff that makes us attractive. And that's the importance of a beautiful mind.
And with that, the crowd slipped into the night. Liam Mannix, Inside Adelaide.
The relocation of the Eating Disorders and Anxiety Unit at Flinders Medical Centre has caused a great deal of anger for both staff and former patients. They're worried that with the relocation there'll be a lower standard of care.
The steps of Parliament House were flooded with hundreds of people on Wednesday in protest of the closure of Ward 4G. Ward 4G is the Eating and Anxiety Disorder Unit in Flinders Medical Centre. The government decided last November that it would be shutting it down and transferring patients to the Margaret Tobin Centre, a general psychiatric ward. On Wednesday, the 6th of February, a rally was held at Parliament House to stop the closure of 4G.
We're here for a rally to stop the closure of Ward 4G, which helps with eating disorders and other weight disorders. 1 in 5 people with anorexia will die. It's the highest death rate of all mental illness, and there's not enough beds in South Australia, and the government has already closed beds because they closed Blackwood Hospital, and more lives will be lost if this happens.
Aaron Fornerino organised the rally and has collected thousands of signatures in a petition to stop 4G's closure.
Is that the government have decided that it will be best practice to move eating disorder patients in with general psychiatric persons in an entirely separate ward. Now, they've been notified by psychiatrists that it's a bad move because of implications of problematic behaviour on the ward from sometimes rather psychotic and behavioural problemed patients.
The Margaret Tobin Centre, where eating disorder patients will be sent, does not admit patients under 18, causing a severe lack of services for the growing number of young eating disorder sufferers.
Concerns are that there's been no additional funding or service extensions to the women's and children's. I mean, one clear argument is why were patients 15 years and over being sent to Ward 4G as it is, if there were adequate services at the women's and children's already.
The government recently announced that the closing of 4G will be put on hold until a review is conducted. They have also promised that they will reform the treatment of eating disorders in South Australia. However, the concern is that these changes will not be made, at least not in the near future.
The only problems I have with this new reform panel is, are these recommendations going to be implemented? If not, then it'll just end up getting shelved again and we won't hear anything. I'm a bit concerned that this announcement was timed to put off participants from the rally and to pretty much shut us up.
Laura Crook, a former eating disorder sufferer, gave a speech at the rally explaining how important 4G was in her recovery.
I was 37 kilos when I was admitted into Women's and Children's. At that time I hadn't heard about the ward at Flinders, and I wish that I had, because I may not have relapsed if I had known about the ward. Because at Women's and Children's, as much as they're a fantastic hospital, they do not have the appropriate facilities to treat eating disorder sufferers.
Samantha Teague, Inside Adelaide.
After the break, we look at the 35th Carnivale.